Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
All right, we will go on the record in the matter 23 CV 86, Rick Brimacombe et al. Versus Carl Olsiums et al., Carl and Suzanne Olsiums. We're here today in this matter for a motion hearing and a contempt hearing. The court has reviewed all filings that have been filed to today's date. Are all parties ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
We have appearing in person. We have Rick Brimacombe with his counsel, Christopher Anderson. We have Suzanne Olsiums appearing in person without counsel. We have Carl Olsiums appearing in person without counsel. Mr. Anderson, I believe that you filed the motion for contempt.
True.
And I am not, and I'm not certain if Mr. Olsiums filed a motion or if he did not, or if that was already addressed. Mr. Anderson, can you please update the court on the issues that we will be addressing here today from your perspective?
Certainly, Your Honor. I think the only two issues remaining are the damages matter and the contempt issue. There's a hearing held on December 4th that started to address the damages and contempt matter. There's also some other motions that were dealt with by the court at that point in time. I believe there's a motion for stay by Mr. Olsiums, which was denied. There's a motion by me to compel additional records and transcripts to go to the Court of Appeals, which the court denied based on the premise that the appeal was premature. Frankly, I agreed with the court on that, and also filed a motion now with the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals has dismissed the appeal because it was premature.
That's news to me. So the entire appeal has been dismissed?
Dismissed without prejudice, so to speak. So I can be refiled, but it was the basis of their decision was that it was premature.
All right, let me just check. That must have been the January 22nd, 2025. That was not sent for my review, but yes, now I am seeing it, that it was dismissed without prejudice. All right.
So I think there's just two matters to take up today, Your Honor, the damages matter and the contempt matter. And from the December 4th hearing, Mr. Brimacombe had testified. He was on the stand. Ms. Haskins had testified and Ms. Rotman had testified. Neither one of them are here anymore today. Their testimony was completed. Mr. Brimacombe was on the stand. We completed direct, I believe, and I think he was up for cross.
That is correct. Thank you for bringing me up to speed. That is exactly where we left off.
Can I add one thing?
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Miller are also present in the courtroom, and they're plaintiffs in this case as well.
All right. And what are their full legal names?
John and Elizabeth.
John and Elizabeth Miller.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. All right. Mr. Brimacombe, please come forward. Raise your right hand, be sworn in, and then you can come and have a seat at the witness stand again.
You affirm that the testimony you're about to provide in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right. Mr. Olsiums, this is your opportunity now to provide cross-examination of Mr. Brimacombe.
Your Honor, should we spend a few minutes? I need to connect my computer to the court's TV because I have
Mr. Olsiums,
exhibits.
this is why you need to set up an appointment to come and check to make sure it works before we have a hearing. And that's, you set up an appointment for a date and time where the court doesn't have court, not right when we're having a hearing, okay?
Well, there's nothing exotic about my setup. I should be able just to connect with the USB.
That's what everybody thinks and they say, but then sometimes things don't work and sometimes it takes some time. So I guess we'll adjourn momentarily to see if Mr. Olseams can connect his equipment. All right, we are briefly adjourned. Nope.
Have a different input.
I just got regular USB and that's a
Try
USB-C,
something
right?
else.
Usually we use HDMIs.
I have this
And
on,
because I tried a different way and still nope.
I have this on a stick, so if someone else has a computer
Nope.
that would.
It's your responsibility. And again, Mr. Olseams, this is why you call the court to set up an appointment time to get your equipment to see if it works. Okay, ahead of time, ahead of the day of trial, okay? Because now I've tried both of the ways to connect. Neither of the ways are working. Nope. Try this one more time. There's something that's not connecting or working right there.
Well, there's nothing exotic. It's a Google Chromebook, so
Again,
it's nothing
I don't
exotic.
know. It doesn't mean if it's exotic or not. Sometimes equipment doesn't work with itself and sometimes you need to have other things and we would need to get IT up here, but now we can't get IT up here. Okay, so that's why we set up appointments. That's why you should know to call to make sure equipment works. But it's not working. So it is what it is.
Well, at the very least, I could just simply play it on my Chromebook.
No. You cannot, because I won't be able to hear it or see it. Mr. Anderson won't be able to hear it or see it. Mr. Brimacombe won't be able to hear or see it. Ms. Miller won't be able to hear or see it. Mr. Miller won't be able to hear or see it. The only people who would be able to hear or to see it would be Mr. Olseams and Suzanne Olseams.
Well, I guess I just propose that maybe we put it on a table and we can all just go around the table
No.
or.
Not how it works. Back on the record, same appearances as previously noted. Mr. Olseams has attempted to connect his computer to the court system. The court used every possible way to connect his computer to the system to play his thumb drive. The district attorney happens to be in the courtroom here today, observing the court hearing or just sitting in the court. The district attorney, who is very technologically capable, attempted to help Mr. Olseams. He's done it multiple times himself with his own computer. He's helped multiple defense attorneys help set up to ensure that the system can work properly. And the district attorney was unable to assist in setting up or hooking up Mr. Olseams' computer. Mr. Olseams did not make an appointment ahead of time, ahead of the court's calendar, to ensure that his system works properly with the court system as he is required to do, as the court rules state that he's required to do. There's no other option, Mr. Olseams. It is not working. The court used both of the options for presentation on the court system. You have tried each of the connections with your laptop. If you get to the point where you want to try and show it again at that point, we can try it one more time. But at this time, I'm not wasting any more of the court's time because it is now 9:19. This matter started at 9 o'clock. We have not yet started because you, again, needed to call the court ahead of time to set up your own specific appointment time to ensure that your equipment worked if you wanted to use it. It's not working. All right. Mr. Brimacombe, please come back up on the stand. You are under oath. Mr. Olseams, you may begin.
Well, Mr. Brimacombe, did you file an affidavit in this case?
Yes.
And my approach, Your Honor?
What is the reason to approach?
I want to ask him if this is the affidavit that he filed.
You just want to ensure authenticity if that's the affidavit that he filed.
Yes, because I'm going to go through this affidavit with him. there a problem with that?
You can let him look at it and see if that's exactly the affidavit, if you want to ensure that that is the affidavit that he did sign. And then you
Yes.
may take it right back.
Okay. Is this the affidavit that you filed? This case?
That's my signature. Was this particular copy what I filed? I guess we'd have to cross it against the court records. Those are my signatures.
Okay, so that is your signature.
I said it was my signature.
Were you completely truthful in this affidavit?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
So on, what I'm gonna do is I
What
wanna
affidavit are we referring to?
affidavit of Mr. Brimacombe that started this whole case and that you based your injunction on.
The original affidavit in the file that
Yes,
accompanying the summons and the complaint.
yes.
We have to be very specific because there's multiple affidavits that are filed in this case.
Your Honor, just for the record, I'm gonna have to try to find my own copy of that, I guess, but
I
would
believe it's-
appreciate if I could.
It's document number 5. I believe that's what he's referring to. Document number 5 filed July 19th, 2023.
Yep.
2-page document. And Mr. Olseams, you're not represented, and I cannot give you legal advice, but I can give you a little bit of pointers because you're not represented and you're pro se. You need to lay a foundation when you ask questions. Foundation is such as, Mr. Brimacombe, at the beginning of this matter, did you file an affidavit? Yes. Now, Mr. Brimacombe, do you remember when you filed that? Give a date. Those types of things lay a foundation.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do is simply ask him if he filed this.
That's how you lay a foundation to be able to ask the questions that you want to ask. Mr. Anderson was being very nice by not objecting, okay? You have to lay a foundation. That means one baby step over another baby step, over another baby step, over another baby step. Again, Mr. Anderson was being very nice by not objecting to how you asked of that question. Because again, there's multiple affidavits in this file. And Mr. Brimacombe has had more than one affidavit in this file. So that's what foundation is. Did you find it, Mr. Anderson?
Not yet, Your Honor. That doesn't mean I won't. I just haven't found it yet.
Do you want me to just print you a copy?
Would you like to just have a printed copy?
That'd be great if I could.
Yes, because here's the thing, again, I know you have a file, but if you're trying to use something as an exhibit, I don't know the purpose of what you're using it for. But if you're trying to use it as an exhibit for the court to take judicial notice, you must make sure you have copies of everything, even if it is contained within the file. Is the printer working?
Should be. That it's trying.
You can't talk to Mr. Schmidt. If we have a break, you can test your computer again to see if it can work. All right, now we're all on the same page. Document 5 in 23 CV 86 filed July 19, 2023, affidavit of Rick Brimacombe. Questions, Mr. Olseam?
Okay, so line item 5, Mr. Brimacombe, you state in your affidavit that, again, this is as of July 19th, 2023. Line 5, you say that the defendants have allowed individuals to rent the defendant's real estate. What basis did you have to make that claim? What basis did you have to make that claim? That there was renting going on?
I was told by the renters.
Okay, so you never actually saw a rental agreement or any kind of a contract?
No, I was told by the renters.
So you really don't know for sure if any renting was going on?
I was told over multiple years by multiple renters that they were renting.
But you never saw an actual contract?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
No, I didn't see a contract.
Mr. Brimmerman.
When I
Oh,
say
sorry.
sustained, that means you don't have to answer. If I say overruled, that means you have to answer.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So you really don't know for sure if any renting was going on?
Over multiple years by multiple parties, I was told that they were renting.
But ultimately, that's just hearsay. You're just going off of what somebody says. You don't know absolutely legally for sure that any renting was going on, correct?
Your question's unclear to me.
Okay, I'll restate the question. Basically, you just went off of what somebody said. You never saw a legal document.
Objection mischaracterizes the testimony. He testified that multiple people over multiple years told him that they were renting, not one person.
Sustained. Rephrase.
So isn't it true, Mr. Vermicombe, you just relied on hearsay to determine whether or not somebody was renting my property?
By multiple different parties
That's not
over
what I asked.
multiple years.
You're not answering the
I-
question. Isn't it true you just relied on hearsay to determine whether or not there was any renting going on at my property?
Your Honor, I'm going to object at this point on relevance, number one, because it's already been established through affidavits, through rental agreements, through the other case that Mr. Alciums was a part of in front of this court, that there is renting going on and there is payments being made and there are rental agreements that have been submitted as evidence in this court. So I'm not sure where this is trying to go because he's trying to challenge a statement in affidavit that has been proven to be true.
And
And-
sustained, it's a legal conclusion. Mr. Brimacombe is not an attorney. Hearsay is a legal word and phrase. Next
But so is
question.
the term
Next
rental.
question.
In line number 6, Mr. Vermicombe, you say that the defendants have not applied or obtained any permits from Burnett County to rent their real property to others. How did you know that, Mr. Vermicombe?
I spoke to people from Burnett County
And what do the people of Burnett County say?
that you hadn't filed the proper paperwork to rent your property.
Mr. Vermicombe, do you realize that in the county ordinance that a permit is not required?
Objection
certain
calls for a legal
circumstances.
conclusion.
Can I finish the
Sustained.
question?
Legal conclusion. He's not an attorney. Next question.
May I approach?
For what purpose?
I'm going to show Mr. Vermicombe a part of the ordinance of Burnett County.
If we're talking about the law, Your Honor, again, it's going to end up being a legal conclusion, and I'm also not certain that there's any relevance to that. We're talking about damages and contempt. That's all we're talking about. We're not talking about liability at this point.
Sustained. Legal conclusion. It is a statute. It speaks for itself. Mr. Brimacombe is not an attorney.
I'm asking Mr. Vermicombe what his state of mind was and him determining whether or not a real rental was going on. How is he determining the legal term rental or permit, or it goes to his state of mind as to, why he's saying what he's saying in his affidavit?
I don't think state of mind is relevant, Your Honor.
It is not. Sustained. Next question.
Did you know that it's legal to rent your property without a permit, Mr. Vermicombe?
Objection calls for legal conclusion.
Sustained. Next question.
Line number 7, Mr. Vermicombe, you say that there have been between 10 and 16 vehicles parked at the defendant's real property at one time. Correct? You still stand by that?
Objection and misstates the affidavit, Your Honor. If you're going to read from the affidavit, I think it needs to be exact.
Sustained.
There have been between, I'll read the affidavit. There have been between 10 and 16 vehicles parked by renters of defendant's real property at one time. Are you saying, Mr. Vermacombe, that you witnessed 16 vehicles parked at my property?
Yes, sir.
Yes, is that a yes?
You have to say yes or no.
Yes.
I need to get to the AV. I have evidence, videos and pictures.
Is it gonna show
The counter,
every single time that you've ever singly rented? Because he said because the question was at one time. His answer was yes, at one time. So are you gonna show me every single time on a video that you've ever rented to show me that every single time you've rented your property, there has never been one time with 16 vehicles? Because
gonna
if
show-
that's the case, then you can show me your video.
I'm going to show it's not physically possible. And I'll show pictures and videos that will show it's not physically possible to have that many cars on the property.
Yeah.
You may.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm probably trying to predict where this is going, but I think I'm probably accurate. I understand what Mr. Alsims is trying to do, and trying to say that not 16 vehicles can't be parked on his property at one point in time. That's sort of the point of the whole, not the whole lawsuit, but it's a big point because vehicles are parked. Maybe not all of them can fit on defendant's real property, which has been alleged over and over and actually found by the court that there's vehicles strewn about. And that's the point. If there's 16 vehicles, maybe they're not all on the property because they're not. They're all over the place. I think that's where Mr. Alsims is going here. Maybe we can short circuit it by.
No, that's not where I'm
chase.
going. Where I'm going is that he's lied in this affidavit. And this is just one example that I'm going to prove that it's not physically possible to park 16 vehicles, not only on my property, but in the entire area. And it's at a crux. It shows that Mr. Vermacombe is a liar and that this whole affidavit is exaggeration, lies, and mistruths.
I
It
will
doesn't
give
ma-
you one more opportunity to try and be able to connect your laptop during this trial, while we are in the process of having this trial, other than a break, Mr. Olsiams. But again, you should have called ahead of time. You should have made an appointment with the court like every other attorney does, or any other litigant that does.
But I'm assuming, Your Honor, this is not exotic equipment. It's a Chromebook, Google Chromebook that has.
Olsiams, stop. It doesn't matter. Just last week, we had a very professional, very intelligent attorney who brought an Apple computer, which is a very excellent computer. It did not work. She was unable to play her video. You want to know why? She didn't do the same thing. So she did not get to play her video either in a very critical case that involved very critical matters about a drive-by shooting. So she didn't get to play her video in that case either, because she did not make the appointment to come in to make sure her equipment worked. So again, I will give you an opportunity right now during our trial time to see if your equipment can work. I can only do so much with my end on the equipment.
Your
Okay.
Honor, okay, can I reply? I'm plugged into a USB-C,
I see that.
which is this is a Chromebook. It's not exotic. There's millions of these Chromebooks out there.
Get it.
USB-C is a common format.
Got
I
it.
should be able to, in any environment, to hit the
Excellent.
play button, have this video show up there. There's nothing exotic about it.
Nice.
So with a little bit
Sometimes-
of court's cooperation, I think we should be able to fix it.
Mr. Olsiams, sometimes equipment doesn't work with each other. I don't know why. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a technologist. I'm not an IT person. I don't know why. It just does. And the poor, intelligent, wonderful, credible attorney last week couldn't do the same thing. And that was a drive-by shooting at a house with a child in the house, and she could not play the video. So I'm telling you, it's not just you, okay? Not just you. It happens. Next time, she knows now to make sure to call ahead and make an appointment. Now you know exactly the same thing. Let's try it again. Are you sure you're plugged in? Make sure you're plugged in. Everything's plugged in to the right plug with all of the connectors that you have there, because we had like 5 or 6 connectors. Now, you are sitting in the defense. I just hit the button for defense laptop. As you see, my screen just went black over there. It should be playing over there.
Okay. Editor's note. Editor's note. The next 20 minutes-ish of the video are going to look like this, because what's happened now is they're going to get into an argument over the AV system. And they're going to happenstance into a situation in which they can actually see his Chromebook, but it's not actually coming out so that we can see it. So what I've had to do is I had to take the Zoom presentation and zoom in on the little bitty corner box by 500 times. And that's what I've put in the middle of the screen. So most of the next 10, 15, 20, I forget exactly how long it is. This is mostly listen to and just gawk over, because this is pure gold stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to start this back and back it up just a little bit so we can get a full taste of everything going on. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy the President's Day special going on right now with Judge Mogen.
It is now blacked out. Hit the button for defense lab. Everything's plugged in to the right plug with all of the connectors that you have there, because we had like 5 or 6 connectors. Now, you are sitting in the defense. I just hit the button for defense laptop. As you see, my screen just went black over there. It should be playing over there. It is now blacked out so that I could see your screen playing by the jury box. It's not playing. Unless that's the sound of it.
I think we're halfway there.
Now I can do one more thing to see and go this way. Now both of my screens blacked out and I don't have it. It must just be playing on your computer, picking up from the microphone, because it's not coming up on my videos. It's not coming up on my videos. Oh, now it is. Something is. I don't see any video playing, but I see your screen. Your screen with a flag or multiple colors is showing. And I hear
Okay.
birds chirping, but that's all. That's what hers did too. It didn't play the video. It just showed a pretty picture.
Okay. So if you just give me a few minutes here, I think we can again, this is not exotic equipment. We should be able to figure this out. Okay, so I think we're there.
Okay, it looks like the video may be working. Court reporter does not need to take down anything with the video. I don't know how this is going to show the courts that 16 vehicles cannot fit in there. I see no vehicles parked. I see no
I'm getting there.
measurements.
I'll get there. I'll get there.
Go.
Okay. Okay, so again, Mr. Rimacombe, are you stating that you saw 16 vehicles parked at my property?
I saw your renters have 16 vehicles.
Okay, so I have 5 videos here. I don't know how you want me to mark these so far as I have them on
I'm
the
sorry,
thumb
Ms.
drive.
Miller, but you cannot come up here.
These are all in the thumb drive, so I don't know how you want me to mark them. I've marked them as D1 through 5. And the
No, you
picture?
mark the thumb drive as just one exhibit. I can't mark D1, D2, D3, D4, D5 on a thumb drive. The thumb drive is one exhibit and I take the whole exhibit, I take the whole thumb drive as one exhibit.
Okay, that's not what we did last time with that, with the Burton matter. I submitted one thumb drive with all of the pictures and videos on that thumb drive.
Exactly, and I take the thumb drive.
Right, but it's gonna have all of the exhibits on it. It's not one thumb drive for every exhibit. The thumb drive has all the videos, plural, and pictures. So I don't know how you want me to label each video, 1 through 5. I've labeled them
Well, you can,
D1 through D5.
correct, you can decipher each one and identify them each as D1, D2, D3, D4.
That's what I've
D5.
done on the thumb drive that I will give to the court.
Correct.
when we're
yes.
done.
But we only need it as one exhibit, but identified as D1, D2, D3.
Right, that's what
D4,
I'm
D5.
saying. They're all on this thumb drive that I will give to the court.
Yes, just,
Okay.
just identify them as you said, D1, D2, or V1, or whatever you're going to
Yes.
identify them as.
Yes,
Yes,
okay. So I don't know how you want me to lay the foundation for each one of these videos. I know Mr. Anderson presented all of these pictures. And we really didn't get into the foundation as to whether or not these are pictures near the cabin, or I wonder if we want to have Mr. Anderson look at the video and agree that it is a video.
however you want to do it, Mr. Olsiams, it's your case. I don't know. I just have my notes from the last time and how Mr. Anderson did it, and these are my notes from the last hearing. And if you're saying that you don't believe he laid the foundation properly, it'll be in my notes and it'll be a strike against Mr. Brimacombe's case. I take very thorough notes.
Well, I'm just gonna say that this is a video taken from my garage. So I don't know if Mr. Anderson is going to object to that or not. If he's gonna accept that as the foundation of the video, that it did come from my garage.
We are trying to use this as impeachment evidence, not as direct evidence right now, because you're trying to use it to impeach the testimony of Mr. Brimacombe.
It's
You're trying
both.
Well, but you can't use it as both right now. Right now, you're trying to use it as impeachment evidence. Okay, so right now, you're just trying to use it to impeach Mr. Brimacombe. There's two ways, okay?
Mhm.
You can't testify as to it right now. You can just do it to him because you're saying he's lying, so you can only use it right now for that purpose. That's it.
Okay, but I'm saying that. the
And when you
foundation-
testify, you get to use it for that. But right now, you just get to use it for that one
Right,
purpose.
but I'm saying the foundation that this is actually the video from my garage. If Mr. Anderson's gonna object to the foundation of that, how do we know it's the actual video? We wanna just play the video first and have Mr. Anderson say he doesn't object to the foundation? How do you wanna do that?
I can't be your attorney, Mr. Brimacombe, or Mr. Olsiams. So just play it, ask questions.
Okay. So, Mr. Brimacombe, I'm gonna play for you. First of all, Mr. Brimacombe, what kind of car do you drive?
I have a couple of cars.
Okay, what are the cars?
I have a Pontiac and a Lexus.
Is it a black Lexus?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm gonna play for you a video that was taken last week, okay?
I don't know what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a blank screen that looks like snow covers it and then uncovers and then covers
Well, I
it
think
back
that's
up.
the gremlins of having the Chromebook work with whatever the court system is. That's why it grays out like that. Um, I'll just try it again. Is that your car, Mr. Brimcombe?
I can't tell.
You want to step up closer to the TV and see if it is?
I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do or what I'm not supposed to do. I'm not sure. I don't know.
He's answering the question, Your Honor. He can't tell. He's looking at the same video all of us are.
The answer is, I don't know. I can't tell.
Does that look like a black Lexus, Mr. Brimacombe?
I can't tell.
Were you at the cabin last week?
I was at the cabin last week.
Yes, you were?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Brimacombe, can you tell me, based on the perspective, and I'll have a picture with the stationary cars on the property, but you can see the size of your vehicle. Can you explain how you would see 16 vehicles parked in front of my garage based on just the perspective of that video? How 16 cars could be parked on the property?
Your Honor, objection. I think it's improper impeachment because, again, that's not what the testimony has said so far. It's not on his property. It's the affidavit in number 7, if that's what we're talking about. 10 and 16, between 10 and 16 vehicles parked by renters of defendant's real property. Doesn't say at defendant's real property. It says renters of defendant's real property.
But Your Honor, even looking at it, and we'll get into that in a second, based on the survey, and you can see based on the pictures that I'll show in the video, that even if they want to claim that the affidavit says that not on the property, it's still not even physically possible to park 16 cars even around what they say is not my property, but on their property.
But as to what I've seen so far, it's sustained. Sustained as to that video, because I have zero clue what you tried to show me with that video. That video didn't impeach Mr. Brimacombe from the court's perspective.
I'm not saying that
So
did.
move on. Okay, now move on, because that video did not impeach. So his objection is sustained.
Do you recognize that area, Mr. Brimacombe?
Please stop playing the same video because it's done. That video's done.
So there are other
Play
6.
another video after that because that video is stricken. Next video, if you have one.
Mr. Brimacombe, you know if somebody that lives on the island named Annie?
Is that Annie, A-N-N-I-E?
Yes. Is that Annie's car, Mr. Brimacombe?
I can't really tell.
So based on this video and the other video, do you recognize that roadway? Is that the roadway that leads to your property and it is in front of my house?
Honestly, I've never seen a video like this or from that vantage point, so I don't know.
Is that Annie's car returning?
I don't know.
I'm lost and confused. I don't know who Annie is.
Annie is a neighbor of ours that
Is
lives,
it relevant? Because I don't even know who Annie is.
I'm trying to establish that Mr. Brimacombe knows what this area is. That is, it's the area in front of my property, shows my property, okay? Shows his car that he all of a sudden has lost memory. That's his car driving through there. So he knows this area. It's the area in front of my property so that we get to the picture that shows this property filled with cars. It is the same property in the video and in the picture that he recognizes this is my property and it's the property that's next to his. And
So,
it's the
Mr.
basis for his affidavit.
Mr. Olsiams, you have a picture that shows something? Or are you saying
I
you're
do.
trying to prove something that is going against the pictures that Mr. Brimacombe has?
I'm trying to lay the foundation here.
You've already laid it. Let's skip because you're not showing me anything. You're just wasting my time. Skip to the picture where you can actually.
I'm trying to show
Mr.
that
Brimacombe.
that's his car. He's familiar with this area. This is the area in front of my property that's next to his.
I get it. I got it. Good. Now
Okay.
move on.
You know, I have a picture that's on my computer that's not showing up here. So can I ask the district attorney for some technical assistance here to get this picture
No,
up?
you may not. He is
I have to
not
get this picture
IT.
up.
He doesn't work for you. He just happens to be sitting in here working.
Then I don't understand the court's IT systems here. It should be displaying this picture. I don't know what,
Mr. Brimacombe, I don't either. That's why we have appointments and that's why we schedule them. So you can figure your stuff out, not for me to figure it out, for you to figure it out and for us to schedule with our IT people to come out and help. You got your video to play, so now figure out your picture.
That's what I'm trying to do. I don't know why the video would play and the picture doesn't show up. I don't know what.
I don't know. Who's Paul Donahue?
He's one of the, he's one of the plaintiffs, Your Honor.
All right, he would like to come into the hearing. Is he just going to observe or is he supposed to testify or what?
Two things, Your Honor. He's a party, so I think he's gonna observe, but I did send in a request for remote testimony yesterday. I
Oh,
recognize.
that's correct. I forgot.
It was
Sorry.
somewhat late. I get that. So whether he testifies or not,
Well, I just connected Paul Donahue. Mr. Donahue, please stay muted. Don't make any noise. We are in court. I don't know what else to do, Mr. Olsiams.
Why don't I just show this picture to Mr. Brimacombe on my computer? I'll show it to Mr. Anderson. Why don't we just do that? I don't know why the court systems are not showing the picture, but it's a critical part of
But as
impeaching.
you can see, it showed your video, so I don't know.
I don't know
did what
what-
I could to fix what I could.
Why don't I just present the picture to Mr. Brimacombe on my laptop? What's the difference?
How am I going to receive that and how am
It's
I
on the thumb
going?
drive. It's on the thumb drive.
Mr. Anderson? It's, I guess,
the problem,
a picture.
it is, but the problem with it, Your Honor, is I have 4 copies. That's how you normally do it. You come with copies for everybody. Not everybody can look at it at the same time. That's a problem.
If Mr. Anderson, I can show it to
No.
you, show it to Mr. Brimacombe and show it to Mr. Anderson.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Just quickly show it to Mr. Anderson. You can quickly show it to Mr. Brimacombe, then you can quickly show it to me. But it's going to be very quick.
I see the picture.
So again, Mr. Brimacombe, I'm gonna leave him with the picture.
No.
Some questions about it?
No,
Okay, well, how do you want me to ask him questions about it if he?
I don't know. You're the attorney. For yourself, you're pro se.
Mr. Brimacombe, how many vehicles do you see in this picture? Can I ask him that?
I can't see the picture.
Can't
You see
see
the
the
picture?
picture. You needed to print it out.
Can I just hand it to him?
No, I'm not going to have him be responsible for your computer and what if something happens and it breaks? I'm not going to have the court be responsible. I'm not going to have Mr. Brimacombe be responsible. Do you see what Mr. Anderson has? A whole stack of exhibits there, 4 copies for all of us to have. That's what you needed to do. So you may ask him based upon what he saw in the split second he saw it.
Mr. Brimacombe, how many vehicles did you see in the picture?
2 or 3, I believe.
Okay. So based on the videos that you saw and this picture, can you explain within the laws of physics, the natural laws of space, time, how on earth you could see 16 vehicles parked at my property when this picture shows only 5?
Objection.
Where do the
Your Honor.
other 11 vehicles get parked?
Sustained.
On multiple grounds.
Sustained on multiple grounds. Again, legal conclusion, again, not a scientist, again, not a physicist, again, not on your property. Again, his language says by your property. Multiple reasons to sustain. Next question.
Where were this, based on looking at the picture and the videos, Mr. Brimacombe, where were the 16 vehicles parked?
Your Honor, real quick on that part, he refers to the picture and videos. My understanding is that the first video was stricken.
Yes.
The second video, my client,
Why was the
The
first video
witness-
stricken?
And the second video is stricken as well because it shows you did not impeach Mr. Brimacombe from those videos. They were used for impeachment purposes because you said Mr. Brimacombe was lying. And so that's what impeachment is if you do not understand that. The videos
do.
you showed the court did not show any impeachment whatsoever. No impeachment. They showed a car driving, 2 different separate cars driving in a roadway past a driveway. It did
The
not
reason why-
demonstrate any evidence to the court. You can make any argument to the court when you testify as to why they could provide evidence and support for your argument. But as for impeachment purposes, you did not impeach Mr. Brimacombe based upon those videos. So for impeachment purposes, they are stricken. Now, if you want to use them, if you think they strengthen your side of the story for your testimony and evidence, you may attempt to do so. But for impeachment purposes, they're
Mr.
not valid.
Brimacombe, where were the 16 vehicles parked?
Not exactly sure of your question.
You said in your affidavit that you witnessed, again, these are your words, not mine, that you witnessed 16 vehicles parked. Now, according to Mr. Anderson, it's some are on, some are off, some are around. Where exactly were all 16 of these vehicles parked?
You rent to groups of 20 or more people. They bring a lot of
Objection,
vehicles.
he's not answering the question. Specifically, Mr. Brimacombe, you are saying on this affidavit, Mr. Brimacombe, okay, you are testifying under oath. Where are the 16 vehicles parked that you witnessed? Simple question.
Their property, the Miller's property, my property, and the Donahue's property.
How many vehicles were on the Miller's property?
On a particular occasion, off the top of my head, other than looking at some of the photos that are in exhibits, like Exhibit 7, for example, that would tell us how many cars are in those
Objection,
exhibits.
he's not answering the question. Specifically, you again, Mr. Brimacombe, you started this case with this affidavit.
Objection,
You're
Your Honor, not to
testifying
the
that there are
conclusion.
16 vehicles on or around the
Here when
property.
multiple people are talking, and Mr. Olseams, if you're trying to have an objection or you wish to
I want
object,
to question. I want to answer the question.
then you have to, if you say objection, then you kind of have to wait for the court to make a ruling before you continue to talk, because you object and then you keep talking.
Okay.
And then, so then you keep asking questions, and then we just keep muddling the hearing and the transcript.
Okay, objection, he's not answering the question.
All right, so now let's just go back a step, because I don't know what question he's not answering, because there was too much talking and too much talking.
I'll
over
start from the
objections.
beginning. I'll start from the beginning.
Okay,
Okay. Mr. Brimacombe says in his affidavit
you're
that
not
he
talking
witnessed.
to me. Ask a question to Mr. Brimacombe.
Mr. Brimacombe, this is your affidavit that started this whole case. All right? Now, you made a bunch of claims in this affidavit, and we're gonna go through each one and see if you lied or not, right? So now on this one about parking vehicles, you testified in this affidavit that you saw 16 vehicles. Now, according to Mr. Anderson, it's not on my property, it's throughout the area.
I'm gonna
So-
literally read it for the record, exactly what paragraph 7 says. Quote, there have been between 10 and 16 vehicles parked by renters of defendant's real property at one time, period. There have been up to 20 individuals staying at defendant's real property at one time, period. End quote. That
Thank
is
you.
exactly what was stated in the affidavit. You may question off of that exact statement in the affidavit.
Thank you. Mr. Brimacombe, where did you witness these 16 vehicles parked?
Your Honor, he's already answered that question.
Asked and answered.
You said that,
He answered, and I
how
have
many
it
vehicles were
written,
parked?
I have it written down. My property, the Donahue's property, the Miller's property, and the Ulsium's property.
How many vehicles were parked on the Alstom's property?
The Exhibit 7, I believe, has an example.
Objection,
of-
he's not answering the question. I didn't reference Exhibit 7. I asked him a simple question. How many vehicles were parked on my property?
If you know the answer, you can answer the answer. If you don't know the answer, Mr. Brimacone, you can answer you don't know or you don't recall.
I don't recall.
How did you get to the number 16 then, Mr. Brimacombe?
Counting.
Okay, so simple math. I remember I studied calculus. I know we're talking simple addition. X plus Y plus Z plus whatever has to equal 16. So we need to, how many were parked in my property? How many were parked in the Millers? How many were parked in the Donahues? And how many were parked on yours?
I don't recall.
Do you want to retract paragraph 7 from your affidavit?
Objection argumentative.
Sustained.
So you're now testifying that you don't know where all these 16 vehicles were parked.
I'm testifying that I saw that many vehicles, trailers, four-wheelers, trucks, cars.
Isn't it true that you just simply guessed, Mr. Brimacombe?
Objection asked and answered. He said he counted.
No, he didn't. He said he counted, but now he's saying, well, I don't know how many were on this property. I don't know how many on that property.
Sustained. And for the record, the statement in the affidavit states between 10 and 16, between 10 and 16. It means it could be a number anywhere from 10 to 16. It doesn't say exactly 10 or exactly 16.
He says there have been. That means fact between 10 and 16. That means,
I'm going to tell you, I'm a very learned legal official. I read multiple case laws. Or cases. I read pretty much all of the Court of Appeals cases that come down. I pretty much read for a lot, all of the Supreme Court cases that come down. I learn how to define and go through legal or language as it is written and what it means and what it is defined. And I will do so in this case. I promise you. Move on.
okay. So did you lie about the number of vehicles parked at the property, Mr. Brimacombe?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
So the second part of your paragraph number 7, Mr. Brimacombe, you say there have been up to 20 individuals staying at the defendant's real property at one time. Is that correct?
If that's the quote from the affidavit, yes.
Well, I'm not asking you about the quote. I'm saying, have you witnessed 20 people, 20 individuals staying at my property at one time?
Yes,
And how do you know that?
counted, talked to him.
Were you on my property?
No, sir.
So you're saying you collected all 20 people that were allegedly at the property and counted each one, so you weren't double counting, and you came up with the number 20 to put in your paragraph.
I spoke to renters. They told me how many were there. We drive the boat by. You can see people clearly on the beach.
How did you get to specifically 20 though, Mr. Brimacombe?
Objection asked and answered again, Your Honor. He already testified that he talked to people and he counted. He saw
This is an
them.
important part of this whole case, Your Honor. He's saying 20 people. It
And
could be
it's
10 people,
sustained.
5 people.
Well, you're saying on your property, and that's sustained because we have, that was asked and answered at the last hearing.
So your testimony, Mr. Brimacombe, is that you witnessed 20 people at one time at my property.
Yes,
Have you ever, how many people have you had, you have a cabin out on the island as well, correct, Mr. Brimacombe?
yes.
And did you build that property, that house, or how did you acquire that property?
Objection relevance.
It's relevant because the whole point of what he's trying to say here is that there have been so many people and so many cars parked there that it's a nuisance to him. And the foundation, he's doing the same thing. He has tons of cars out there, tons of people. I want to see how many people he's had at his property. It can't be a nuisance. It can't be contempt.
Mr.
If he's
Olson,
doing the same thing.
It's sustained because you asked how he acquired the property. That's not relevant. Sustained.
Did you inherit it from your parents?
Objection.
Sustained.
Thank you.
How many vehicles have you had well, let me start from the beginning. Have you had guests at your property, Mr. Brimacombe?
Yes.
And what guests have you had at your property?
I'm unclear about your question.
Well, have you had friends, relatives?
I've had friends, I've had relatives.
Okay. And, do these relatives all come in their own car, or does everybody come in one car, or how do the relatives get to your property? And friends?
I'm not totally clear of that question.
Do they drive their own car to get to your house, Mr. Rimacombe, or do you all get in a bus to get to your property? How do they get to your property?
Generally, people drive cars. We've had no buses there.
Okay, so what's the largest group that you've ever had at that property? How many people?
I don't know.
You don't know. Is it more than 10?
Yeah, I've had more than 10 there.
Have you had more than 20?
I don't know.
So when you've had guests and people at your property, where do they park their cars?
On my property.
Okay. I'm sure you want to, they're all parked on your property. Is that correct, Mr. Rimacombe?
On my property.
Okay. I have defense exhibit. I don't know how you want to mark this.
Usually we mark it ahead of time, and do you have multiple copies? Because you need one copy for Mr. Anderson, you need one copy for me, you need one copy for the witness, and you need one copy for you.
I don't, I just have one copy.
You need 4.
Okay.
That's the rules of court, and you've been here a lot, so.
Should we just make 3 quick
You can
copies?
pay, yep, you can pay for them. Yes, you can go out, we'll
Okay.
briefly adjourn, but they cost money, so you can
Yeah.
go out and buy
Okay.
4 copies. Do you have other exhibits you're gonna need copies of? Because you need 4 of each.
Not that are already in the record.
Okay.
This is
then
not in the record yet, so we're gonna get
Go
this
get
in the
4
record.
copies, briefly adjourned.
Okay.
Go get it marked. I don't know what we are on yet.
Do we have anything that got entered into the record on the USB?
Yeah, so let's call this.
Well, on the last hearing, we have to go off of what we had the last time.
Oh, no, I started a new exhibit.
Oh, you
list for every
started,
hearing.
okay. All right, then no, we haven't had anything yet. Okay. Yeah, he keeps, well, I'll take the main one. Back on the record, same appearances as previously noted. Mr. Olseams has marked exhibit number 1. Mr. Olseams, you may begin.
Mr. Rimacombe, have you ever seen this document before?
I believe so.
Okay, and what is it?
Looks like a survey of the east side of the island. I'm imagining that your number 3 and the Donahues are number 2.
Okay. Now, if I can draw your attention to the survey for lot 2, if you go into the upper left-hand corner, it says unplotted access easement. Do you see that?
Yes,
Okay. Are you familiar with this area of the property of Mr. Donahue's property?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Isn't it true that you've parked either your vehicles or your friends' vehicles or relative vehicles on this property? That part of the property there where it says access easement. It'd be
I
where that you're
don't
under oath.
know because it's hard to tell from this plot. It also doesn't show the road.
I just need to stop just for a second. What was testified to? Whose is number 2 and whose is number 3?
Mr. Donahue is one of the plaintiffs in this case.
And
He's
he's
the next
number
one.
2?
He's number 2 on the survey.
And who's number 3?
That's my property.
That's you. Okay.
Yeah.
I just needed to clarify that. Number 2 is Donahue, number 3 is you.
So to help you refresh your memory, Mr. Rimacombe, Are you aware of a number of conflicts over the last few years where people were parking in this part of the area, I'll call it, we won't even talk about whose property it is, but you placed no parking signs up
On
on
my
trees.
on my property.
But what I'm trying to zero in on, Mr. Brimacombe, is this part of the survey here where it says access easement. Now, what this means is that that is not your property, that is Mr. Donahue's property. And I'm trying to,
Objection, okay. That's a
What's the
legal
obje- what's the
conclusion. It says
objection?
access easement, and then he says that means that it's Donahue's property. I don't know that that means that at all.
Sustained, it's sustained legal conclusion, and Mr. Olsium's, it sounds like you're testifying.
okay,
These statements are things that you can state
it.
when you testify,
I got it.
okay?
Yep. So I'm just trying to refresh your memory about the area I'm talking about. Okay, so isn't it true? Let's start, you have two propane tanks on your property, correct?
I have 2 propane tanks, correct?
Okay, so approximately 50 feet from the area of the propane tanks is an open area where you placed no parking signs, correct?
I have no parking signs that are on my property.
I'm not asking you to say it's your property or not. I'm saying approximately 50 feet from those propane tanks, you placed no parking signs in an open area that's adjacent to the roadway, correct?
50 feet, I don't know how to answer that.
I need to stop just for a second because I'm getting really confused.
Okay,
Is Mr. Brimacombe's property on this survey at all?
what I'm getting to, no, and that's the point I'm trying to drive home here, is that he's parking his vehicles over all these years on what he thinks is his property is
All
not
right,
his
so now
property.
you're testifying to the court and I don't need to hear that. I just needed to
I'm trying
know
to establish that.
where we're going.
Where we're going here is, again, he's
And
lied.
again, you're gonna provide testimony. You have to ask him the questions. And again, you can provide testimony when you
Right.
testify.
So again, it would help if I could show this picture. It would help Mr. Vermicombe I can make the connection to the survey, to the picture, and how Mr. Vermicombe lied in his affidavit by connecting the survey, the picture, and his testimony shows that he lied in the affidavit.
What you can do is you can perhaps go to the clerk and see if you can send the clerk an email and perhaps you can pay for 4 copies. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to get that, to have that in the record so we all can look at it exactly when you're
Okay.
asking him questions.
Okay,
Because I can't see it on the monitors. It doesn't
again,
go on the
I get it.
monitor.
It's not exotic equipment. I don't know why it would just present the video and not the picture. I don't know.
Ask the very experienced female attorney that was here last week who couldn't play.
Okay,
Shooting
can I send the clerk an
video.
email with the picture? And
I
then
don't know, you go ask them. I'm not in charge of if they will do that or not. So
Well,
you
I
go
have to-
out to
I
the
have to
clerk
I have
and
to
you go ask
reasonably,
the clerk. Okay?
I have to reasonably assume that the technology here at the court,
You don't reasonably assume anything. You cannot reasonably assume. That's why you have to call ahead and make an appointment. So if you would like to have that be something that you would like to use as impeachment or have as evidence, you may go. I will stop the hearing yet again for you, Mr. Olsiums, so you can go out to the clerk and you can ask them pretty please with sugar on top. If you can send them an email that they will print in color for you and you can pay for that ×4.
Okay.
Okay?
thank you.
Then we are adjourned again briefly.